Hello YouTube, welcome to Pagan Perspective. This is Megan, aka Spherosphere. Today is Friday, and this week we are talking all about our card for the year. So if you've been watching the videos this week, you know that basically the card of the year is a mathematical formulation of your birth date relation to the year in relation to the major arcana of the tarot. So the idea is that you have one card that sort of represents the overall theme for the entire year. So you can go back in time with the different calculators and things, and you can find out like what your card was for the year you're born, your birth card. You can also find out, different years of your life when different things happened. What was your overall card for the year? Now, this is something I've never done. This is something that was certainly not, in my family. In fact, we really didn't even do the tarot. I learned the tarot in high school, and I became more proficient at it, and I definitely enjoyed it, but it was never something that was used in my family growing up at all. We did have runes, however, and runes are very important. Different symbols, not the kind of runes that you see most often, not Celtic runes. So I wouldn't even say they're rune-like. Basically, it's casting of stones, stones or bone, and symbols are drawn on them that represent different things. They're different symbols, though, than you would typically see. So they're not runes in the traditional sense of a Celtic. However, I like to use that word because it just sort of, I don't know, it's easier for most people to understand versus something that's a hereditary tradition passed on that they really wouldn't know much about. So, casting of any sort of stones or bones, casting of symbols put on some sort of small objects, I guess, that you could, because it could be on a shell, anything. That's typically what my family does. So that's very different than the tarot. Now, the idea of the tarot is pretty cool. I love the tarot. I occasionally will read my own tarot. It's not something I typically do for myself, just because I find that it really is, it's very dependent on my mood and how I'm feeling at that time, and I really end up influencing the cards quite a bit. So I try not to do that too much, but when I really need some help and I can clear my mind and I feel very level-headed and clear and everything's good, then, I'll do a reading for myself. So basically, I looked at the card for this year, and it definitely had some meaning. It was not something, though, that I feel like truly represents where I'm at. I feel like I'm at a huge, huge precipice in my life. Not even the precipice, but almost more this jumping off point. I feel like I have reached that top of the roller coaster, and I'm headed down onto this amazing adventure, and I am just trying to enjoy every minute of the ride that I possibly can, and at the same time try and keep my footing. And I think that's really important. Anytime you start something new and things start going into place and things start working out, you can kind of ride that high for a little while, that roller coaster high, and you just need to be careful sometimes that you can still see the forest through the trees. It's one of those things where so much is going well that you're afraid that other shoe's gonna drop. And that's something that I think was definitely instilled in me from a young age, just because so many negative things can happen in your life, unfortunately, because of different problems with prejudice and discrimination and things like that. And I faced a lot of that. I was very bullied as a kid and as a teen, and that was something that was very difficult for me. And then on top of that, having to deal with being in more of a minority status, and then in a silent minority as well. As I've mentioned on here, I'm also Native American, but I look white, and so I pass, and you go up to my family's reservation in Canada, and it's, being the white person on the reservation is, I don't know, you feel out of place, even though that's your blood, even though that's your family. And so this idea of having to deal with all the different parts of myself, whether that is a religious minority, my LGBT status, being a minority, being a woman, and then on top of it, being mixed race and having only one part of that really show, I think, in a dramatic way. That is such a hard thing for a young person to deal with. And I've definitely come into my own, and I feel very empowered and very strong where I am now, and I'm very grateful for my privilege. I understand that, with everything that I have had in my life, and part of being able to pass has given me tremendous privilege, and that's something that I can never take for granted. And I understand that is open doors for me that could never be open for many others, and in particular my own family. And that's something that I know that was not something anyone asked for, but I definitely have had that, and I end up seeing the world through that lens. And so I have this mixed bag of being oppressed and being privileged at the same time, and and that's a hard place to be, and it really makes me feel for where the world is right now. And I don't know if all of that was encompassed in my tarot for the year. So I feel like for me, I really like taking what you're thinking and feeling for the year and manifesting that into kind of your intention for the year. Kara mentioned your intention for the year, but more so for me, I want to have a direction. I want to have a path, and I have things that I want to accomplish on that path, but I also want to see where that path will lead me. And sometimes the journey can be just as fun. In fact, I think it is oftentimes even more fun. And I love to see where the journey's going to take me, and just where this wonderful thing we call life is going to go for me. And I'm so excited to see what Maui has in store for me, and I'm loving it here. I'm inside today just because I'm trying to get stuff done and things like that. So, you live on an island, yeah, but you're not at the beach every day. So I think that's about it, guys. I want people to kind of come away with this thinking about, what is it that you want out of your journey? What kind of things, you can definitely have highlights that you're like, yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that, and kind of the bucket list items, but, allow yourself to explore, allow yourself to get lost, allow yourself to find a new path and go down that road wherever it may lead. I mean, just get excited and fun. I mean, Lisa and I actually drove the world's most dangerous road. Well, one of the world's most dangerous roads. I wouldn't say the most. It was on the website for the world's most dangerous roads. It's Route 340 in Maui, and it goes along the side of the West Maui Mountains, and it's like one lane, like on a cliff face. Very scary. There's a point in which the road, all I could call it was a road sandwich, because on the GPS it literally looked like this, like that. So as we're going around these 180-degree turns, I'm like, and we're the bread of the sandwich, and we're the sandwich filling, and then we're the lettuce, and then we're the next bread of the sandwich. Like, we're folding in and back on ourselves. It was like 180-degree turns. It was exciting when there was a 90-degree turn, because that was a lesser turn. So, but it was absolutely breathtakingly beautiful. I definitely didn't film because I was kind of trying to not pee my pants. But if I had the courage to do it again, I would definitely film some of it. And we might go up certain parts of it. There's like sections of it that are a little wider, and they're 2 lanes. So we might go up that, and then I can film little bits. But it was brilliant, and it was amazing. And really, we were just trying to take the scenic route. On the map, it looks like, oh, it's just a little windy, whatever. We'll just take that road around. It'll be a little longer, but it'll be great. Little did we know. If we had read anything about it, we probably would never have gone on it. But because we didn't, because we just let, world just in the universe take us where we were going to go, we ended up seeing this breathtaking thing and being a little scared, but having a little fun in the meantime. So, yeah, I would say You know, just allow life to let you lead it, and to let life lead you. So sometimes you have to take the reins, and sometimes let the universe, let life take the reins too. So yeah, I think that's about it for today, guys. And yeah, so I will see you next week. And as always, blessed be and aloha.